Welcome to my platform. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on your location or anytime you are meeting this video on YouTube. And if you like what I do here, please, after watching, subscribe, put on your notification bell, set it to all notifications so that you'll be able to know when I upload a new video. In this platform, we react to all forms of video. What we do before putting the video, analyze it, and we sit down there to watch it together with you. Then later we'll come to the comment section to talk about it. Of course, everybody is entitled to his or her opinion, but let us always do it constructively in the comment section.
I want to ask, will a political solution be the best way forward in resolving this?
The whole issue, agitation for self-determination and all that is political. Okay. And so the political solution is a very, very good solution. It's a welcome development.
Okay. Because
there are some battles you cannot win. And one of such battles is the battle for self-determination. Okay. History has shown that over the years, when there is agitation for self-determination, military strength has not really succeeded. Okay. If you go to the Tigray in Ethiopia, yes. Tigray is just a region in Ethiopia. The Omoro people too are also a region in Ethiopia, and the Amhara people. Yeah. And they've been agitating for years. And all the bombing, all the shooting, all the intimidation has not deterred them. And they subsequently are advancing towards the capital. Yeah. So one of the best ways to handle political issues is to use politics itself. Okay. Because politics, according to David Easton, is an authoritative allocation of resources. Harold Laswell also says who gets what, when, and how. So it's the best approach.
Okay, now let's look at the reason he's seeking for a political solution. I'm talking about the nonagenarian. He had described the situation in the Southeast as painful, if you allow me to say what he said, yes. And pathetic, yes. Lamenting that business has collapsed, education is crumbling, and there's fear everywhere. I know you've stayed there many years.
Yes.
Really, how bad is the situation of things then?
I recently was in Umuahia to speak in a church. You know, I lived there for 15 years. Yeah, that I know. And I traveled nearly every corner of Igbo land. Yeah. The Igbos are a group of people. In August, people want to travel home. You will see them traveling home for meeting. Yes. If they are living in a community, if they say we are not doing this, they are not doing it. So the government, the state governors have lost control over the people. Even when IPOB said that they've cancelled the sit-at-home order, people still sat at home. And for an Igbo man to close his business and sit at home, that shows the degree of influence that Nnamdi Kanu has over the people. He's like a religious leader to them. You will see them singing, holy, holy. Nnamdi Kanu is another savior. And I think that the best way to handle this issue now is to find a way to ameliorate the challenges. Economically, you find out that on Mondays, people are not going to their markets, and they calculate how much is lost in Onitsha, lost at Aba, Owerri, and several other Igbo cities. Yes. And then, if students that were writing exams at one time, they were prevented from writing exams. And you know, the highest scores sometimes come from the East, yes. in JAMB and WAEC examinations. So I think a political solution should be the best option for now.
So it's really that bad right there in the South?
It's quite bad, quite bad. And you won't notice it if you go there for the first time. But if you have lived there before and you know the hustle and bustle and the strength of the economy there, for people to sit at home a whole day in the East is a big challenge. And then the shootings and the attacks on government installations, I think is very, very bad.
Okay, we know Nnamdi Kanu formed IPOB in 2014 and was first arrested on the 14th day of October of 2015. And ever since his first arrest, this issue started. But it became more prominent 3 years back. Yes. And if a solution is not found fast and on time, and this persists for long, what impact finally will this have on the economy of that very region? If it persists and a political solution, or if solution is not found in record time?
One thing that the Igbos are feeling
Yes.
is a sense of victimization, a sense of alienation.
Okay.
When you show on TV, sometimes the media people of government, they are not very sensitive. When you show on TV, Igbo traditional rulers, respected Igbo traditional rulers, sitting under trees in front of the court, not being allowed in, they get very angry. The person outside seeing it gets very angry. And then when you see an imagery, sometimes we are not sensitive in this country. You see an imagery of a man with a northern cap, the typical northern cap, standing behind the Nnamdi Kanu. It's been a recurrent decimal. Standing behind Nnamdi Kanu, taking him to court. It shows a sense of a region persecuting another region. And then when Nnamdi Kanu is to come to court, you bring coffin, another segment of this nation, their youth, bring coffin to demonstrate in a matter that is a judicial matter. It shows that there is a political undertone. And the psyche of the Igbo man is being traumatized on a daily basis. If we don't end it now, it will stay for too long. This is a civil war, Biafra, that they fought when I was a child. I was 6 years old when, I was how many years old when the war ended? I was 1970. I was 11 years old when the war ended. The thing is still rejuvenating. But let me talk to the Igbo leaders first. They came to, they are too sluggish, too slow. When this agitation started, they should have gone to meet the president to discuss with him the issues that this young man is raising.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
The seemingly partial treatment of a segment of the country and the harsh treatment of another segment of the country. There was a day I saw online during the recent agitation, before he escaped out of the country. Igbo young men were rolling in the water and soldiers were standing over them. I had to call my Igbo friends who were top politicians in the APC. I called them. Look at what they are doing in your region. Why are you quiet? It was then some of them made calls and the thing ameliorated. The leadership of the Igbo community sometimes are too sluggish. Now, the Yorubas formed Amotekun when their people were being raped and killed in the farms.
Yes.
And Amotekun was legitimized, given uniforms and vehicles. The region came together. Why would you stay idle and docile until a young man who you know is agitated comes up with Eastern Security Network to protect their mothers and whatever? If the Igbo governors had come quickly and established Eastern Security Network with Igbo young volunteers, like as they have hunters in the north and all that, and legitimized it, added the police and the army to it, to battle the herdsmen crisis, we wouldn't have had Nnamdi Kanu forming Eastern Security Network that we don't have control over now. The Eastern governors have always allowed a vacuum that people key on to win the sentiments of the people, and they have lost control over their people. Do you know that the IPOB did something very dramatic during the recent elections in Anambra? By saying that the people should go and vote, they proved that they had influence over the people, and the people came out to vote. So the IPOB too should also see that the APC, I'm not a politician, the APC government is not attempting to colonize the East. That the APC governorship candidate lost, even with 38,000 policemen and all that, shows that the government represented by Buhari in this incident, and maybe like in Edo State too, has no hand in political rigging and whatever. And they should now come to the table, take a step further towards the government so that we can resolve this issue.
Okay, but let's look at the genesis of it. In case you're joining us, we're talking about political solution in resolving the crisis in the Southeast. And we're taking a cue after that meeting that was held on Friday, this past week Friday, by respected Igbo leaders when they paid Mr. President a visit, requesting for a political means in resolving the crisis rather than the military one we're having right now. And like I said, we do have no other person but Dr. Charles Apoki helping through with the discussion. But let's come back and let's start from the very beginning. Now let's look at the genesis of this crisis. Now, according to a statement released by the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, HURIWA, on Friday, November the 19th, which was just this past Friday, They said that the crisis started when Mr. President refused to accord the Igbo nation the constitutional mandate and required equity and equality of citizenship of Nigeria by not considering anybody in the southeast to head any security under his watch. They stressed nobody from the region of over 60 million citizens is holding any command or leadership position of a security institution under this current dispensation. Do you share in this view, or do you feel there are other reasons for the genesis of this crisis?
It will be very unfair on President Buhari to be apportioned the blame of this crisis, even though he was a participant in the previous civil war.
Yes.
The Igbo man has not had a sense of belonging since after the war. That one of reconciliation, reconstruction, no victim, no vanquish. The Igbo man has not felt it. I give you an example. If Gumi makes a statement in the north, and an Igbo man makes a similar statement, the Igbo man will be arrested very quickly, and Gumi will be allowed free. It's happening. So, the Igbo man, when he sees there are some things that happen that he feels very threatened. Yeah. You see, like Onyema, the owner of Peace Airline. Yeah. We went to South Africa to airlift Nigerians that were being traumatized there. And you know, I've stayed in South Africa, and I know how they detest Nigerians. He came back. The next thing was that there was an attempt on him and the airline and to discredit him. The Igbo man has a vivid memory of Ibeto group of companies, how Ibeto was crushed. The Igbo man has a sense of the way Innocent's house was invaded and traumatized. And you see, he has a problem with GT Bank now. So the Igbo man has a sense of persecution. And when you, as a politician, when you have somebody you want to win over, you reassure that person rather than re-emphasizing that sense of persecution. And until we start to treat the Igbo, I have lived there. The Igbo man tolerates a stranger a great deal. They have this concept of wanwa. And wanwa is, if your mother is Igbo and you are a grandchild, you can come to your mother's side and cut plantain in your mother's community. Nobody will hold you, so far you don't steal. So they have this treatment of strangers that we don't see in the ones who are competing with us in the business arena. The Igbo man that comes out to do business came for competition. It's not like the traditional Igbo man in the village that is in Ohuru and Obikabia and all that. They are more accommodating of strangers because they feel that their own children are outside. In Aba, justice is justice, irrespective of who is involved. So, because of that, the Igbo man sometimes feel that they are not treating his or her, their people fairly. And until there are some statements that were made, like we will teach them the lesson they understand, just a dot in a circle and all that. That's quite irritating to the psyche of an Igbo man. And so, until we deliberately understand them and then treat them fairly and give them right of citizenship, that's the easiest way to render people like Nnamdi Kanu irrelevant.
Okay. Now, let's remain with that very visit and by the Igbo leaders and the outcome of it.
Yes.
Now, it's been alleged that the promise made by Mr. President was more of a window dressing. And you allow me to say this, because that same last week, we had the United States Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, visiting Nigeria. And many felt that statement came more of a window dressing to reassure the international community that something will be done in addressing it. Do you share in that view?
And the Buhari I know is not a man who will quake at a visit of U.S. Secretary of State.
Okay.
I know him as a very tough person. From childhood, when I was in medical school and he was a president, I know him that he has a strong will, excepting because our economy is going down now and we're having challenges.
Yeah, we are.
But it was a reasonable statement he made. It was a reasonable statement. Okay. You see, I'm not a lawyer, yes, but you have two avenues for a leader. One is prerogative of mercy. The other one is nolle prosequi. I don't know if I pronounce it well. the government can say we don't want to continue with this case.
Okay.
And you can sugarbarize Nnamdi Kanu. You know what I mean by sugarbarize? When this man, President Shagari, a very gentleman, was in power, there was one man, I think he was in GNPP from Borno State, who was giving Shagari a lot of wahala. One day, Shagari found out that the man is from Niger or one of the countries near us. At night, they just carried Sugaba and dropped him across the border outside the country. Sugaba could not intimidate Shagari again. I think we can, what is his name now? Sugabarize Nnamdi Kanu. Okay. Nnamdi Kanu has 2 passports, Nigerian passport and British passport. They went and arrested him in a former British colony. Okay, let's sugarbarize Nnamdi Kanu. We don't want trouble again. We don't want to judge your case. Carry him, put him in Kenya Airlines, and drop him in the airport. What's his name? Jomo Kenyatta Airport. Drop him there. Leave enough money for him to travel back to the UK. Let him go to the UK. He will be making a lot of noise from the UK. But you see, the point is that even the federal government has not been very articulate in tackling its propaganda. Okay. People like Femi Adesina, they are just reactionary. They are not articulate in countering, even Lai Mohammed, in countering propaganda. They should have assembled a team. When Nnamdi Kanu is making his own broadcast, number one, you can jam that station.
Of course.
You can digitally jam that station. Number two, as he's making propaganda, do research about him, find things about him, and then be discrediting him and all that. He will lose value in the sight of the people. And then the federal government can come up with the ameliorative solutions, I said. Force will not win many things in this country. Force will not win many things in this country. It is just wisdom, tact, and diplomacy that can bring peace to this country.
Okay, well, anyways, for us to bring more of the discussion, we need to go on a break. Well, still with the big story, and like I said, we're having a major one, and the discussion we're having today is looking more for a political means in the resolution of the crisis rocking the Southeast, and how much Mr. President is thinking of reconsidering the demand being made by respected Igbo leaders that paid him a courtesy visit, or rather a major visit on Friday just the past week. And that's what we're having as a major discuss today on the big story. And we also do have no other person but Dr. Chasa Poki with us with the discussion. Before we went on the break, we made mention, or rather talked about what seems to be the reason that the federal government is having a rethink. I want to still remain with that and ask, do you feel also a reason Mr. President is also having a rethink, or the federal government itself, is because of growing condemnation, international condemnation about the issue surrounding Nnamdi Kanu? And also, we also do know that even the first time we heard of the federal government having a political solution to it was when the AGF himself, Malami, came out on November the 10th to have a brief meeting with journalists. And he made mention of a political means of resolving it. And we also know there are growing pressure from the international community pushing that definitely let's find a political means in resolving this. And even more pressure having growing on. Because we also know that just the past week, the IPOB lawyer, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, also sent a message to the British High Commission urging immediate engagement, diplomatic engagement with the Nigerian government in getting Nnamdi Kanu released. So do you feel it's more of a growing pressure that seems to be mounting on the federal government, and that's why they're having a rethink?
In as much as these factors are there,
okay,
the federal government is just being realistic. There's too much on their plate now.
Okay.
You are contending with Igbo and Oduduwa Republic.
Yeah.
You are contending with insecurity in the north itself, terrorism. If you don't call it somebody terrorizing, people say terrorists.
Of course.
You are contending with insecurity in the north that is virtually rendering that part of the country that used to be peaceful to become a den of criminality.
Wild West.
Now, the economy is not that strong. So we need, and the military is overstretched. The police is overstretched. And talking about recruiting young people to come and join the army now, the average young Nigerian might not be willing to join. So it's just reasonable that if we can reduce the tension in the East, we can concentrate more on the tension in the North and solve that crisis. So I just think they are just being reasonable. And then, you see this NSAS report that just came now is another pressure that will be coming. So portraying the government as an insensitive government, a government that is bent on annihilating people and fighting opposition till death is a bad picture. That I think that they are only being realistic based on the circumstances that are there. But let me quickly say this thing now. Let me go back to history. That Nzogu planned a coup that killed northern leaders and also killed Okotiebo, killed western leaders or whatever, does not mean that the northern youths and the northern oligarchy must equate Nzogu with the Igbos. In fact, Nzogu does not come from core Igbo land. It comes from Okpanam in Delta State. And so that we must have a spirit of forgiveness and reconciliation in this country. Because when I see dialogue between the northern youths and eastern youths online, I keep wondering, when will this thing end? There has to be a leader like Mikhail Gorbachev in Russia, like this man in South Africa, the Doklek, that brought an end to the degree of hostility between the African National Congress and the white population in South Africa. And then we also need leaders like Mandela in the eastern part and in the northern part for us to move forward in this country. We are spending too much energy discussing frivolity, discussing cows, discussing IPOB, discussing kidnappers, whether they are bandits, whether they are terrorists, and the people are thinking of better things. I think we should face more realistic issues.
Okay, well, talking about those realistic issues, we do know Mr. President said the demand is heavy.
Yes.
But he will reconsider it.
Yes.
But does the president have the right to do so, knowing that it's more of a judicial issue now? And will he not run contrary to the doctrine of a separation of power between the executive and the judiciary?
Okay. Like as I said, there are two exit plans for the president.
Okay.
The two exit plans, as I said earlier on, is the prerogative of mercy. Okay. Even if the court sentences a person to death, the president has a right to forgive that person. It's in the Constitution. Of course it is. Then there is this nolle prosequi thing. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well. Where I don't want trouble. I don't want fight again. I don't want this case. I withdraw the case.
So he has a power to do so.
He has the power to do that. It's not interference. It is when he goes there and says, you must do this, you must free him, this judgment must go in this direction, then he's interfering. And he has the right to say, we don't want this case again.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, let's remain with that very visit. Now, on the visit to Mr. President by the elder statesman, others on the delegation are persons like Chukwuemeka Ezeife, the former governor of Anambra State.
Yes.
We had Bishop Sunday Onoha of the Methodist Church, Chief Godi Unwaziike, former president of the Igbo Socio-Cultural Group, and Chief A. Ikenga, and also one Mr. Amechi. Now, the question I want to ask is, why are we getting a positive and good response from Mr. President now? On the mining, we'll have a series of other visits, and yet nothing came out from them. So what's so different about this delegation that Mr. President is giving us a good response?
Now, if you look at the people you called now,
yes, sir.
You called Ezeife.
Yes.
Ezeife is a respected Igbo leader.
Okay.
You called the Methodist bishop.
Yes.
Who is a respected spiritual leader. The man that led them is 90-something years old.
And the only existing parliamentarian and
90-something years old. He's older than the president.
Of course.
Older than the president. A minister before the president became Minister of Petroleum in those days. Even before he became governor of Dden Gongola State. Age. And Buhari comes from a part of the country where they respect age. So the quality of people that went and the sincerity of purpose means a lot.
Okay.
And then the circumstances, you know, when a fruit is ripe, it's easier to pluck than when it is unripe. the thing don't tire every person. All of us don't tire. It tire Buhari, tire Nnamdi Kanu, tire the Easterners when they stay house and all that. It don't tire every person. So I think that it is the best time for us to have a political solution.
So you feel that's why he's having and giving us a better response
yes.
this time? Okay, now.
Thank you so much for watching this video together with me. Like I said before, if it is your first time of coming across my YouTube channel and you like what I do, please subscribe, put on your notification bell, share this video, leave your comment in the comment section. You are free to criticize, but let us do it always constructively. Remain blessed. I appreciate your massive support and I love and cherish each and every one of you. Until I meet you again in my next video, for now we say bye-bye.